It's time now for a look at latest in local news. The new Sheriff Chuck Mosley announcing several drug arrests that occurred on January 11th in Wayne County after officers conducted a search warrant at 157 Dakota Court South in Jesup, which resulted in the seizure of methamphetamine, heroin, fentanyl, 2 firearms, and $600 in cash. Following arrest were made, Sheriff's Department released the arrest. 44-year-old Randy Jones of Jesup charged with possession of fentanyl with intent to distribute, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. 52-year-old Manuel Collette charged with possession of heroin, possession of fentanyl, and possession of meth with intent to distribute. 31-year-old Natalie Hardison arrested and charged with possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute. 37-year-old Justin Tolliver arrested on an outstanding warrant, as was 36-year-old Amanda Sweat. 21-year-old Bridget Manning also arrested on an outstanding federal warrant with U.S. Marshals. Again, the arrest occurred on January the 11th here in Wayne County, released by Sheriff Chuck Mosley. Both the Wayne County Board of Education and the Jesup City Commissioners have meetings set for today. Commissioners have a work session and also a regular scheduled meeting at 7 o'clock at the Cracker Arenas Recreation Complex. The new business discussion of a TNR proposal and pond upgrade with Kimberly Browning and Monty Wilder. Rezoning lots on South First Street from R1 to C1 with Jesup Housing Authority. Variance at 1160 West Cherry Street. Discussion on changing the future land use map to reflect changes on South First Street from Ty Street to West Bay Lane. That was Building Inspector Don Heron. Awarding a bid for a sanitary sewer manhole rehab. Also approve a request to bid new work truck. Also approve a call for a city election with City Attorney Michael Connor. Also approve a Wayne County Joint Comprehensive Plan resolution. Discussion of board appointments. Executive session discuss personnel. Items with the city manager. Items with commissioners. Items with the mayor. All that's set for this evening at 7 p.m. Also meeting this evening is the Wayne County Board of Education. They've got a work session at 6 p.m. at the Tech Center. Here's a look at that agenda. First item of business will be the election of chairman and vice chairman for the year 2021. The board will discuss surplus property in the old Martha Ross Smith Elementary facility. On the agenda is the topic of campaigning on school property. A draft policy will be presented for discussion. COVID-19 update on the agenda, financial report, and executive session discuss personnel. And the big story this year is a search for a new school superintendent, which is underway. The application process has been completed. Now the board begins the discussion of narrowing the field of applicants down to the final 3. Chairman Nick Ellis says that target date is February the 16th. Current Superintendent Jay Brinson retiring at the end of March, so the board has begun advertising. Now begins the process of narrowing the applicants down to the final 3. Interview those 3 to eventually announce and hire a new school superintendent for Wayne County. And we'll continue to follow that story as it develops, but the deadline to narrow it down to the final 3 is set for February the 16th. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. General Assembly underway in Atlanta, Georgia. Our local representation in Atlanta. They were in Jesup this past Thursday. WIFO FEM had a chance to talk with all of them. Today we hear from State Representative Bill Werkheiser.
Legislative session is about to get underway next week. I'm sure we'll have Wednesdays with Werkheiser, but what are some of the things that people need to be aware of? What is going to take place up there at the session?
I think Blake summarized it very, very well. It's going to be the budget. It always is, but even more so this year. We will literally spend the first 2 to 3 weeks of doing nothing but subcommittee budget hearings. Our COVID business protection, which actually was along partisan lines, but we will readdress that. I am pretty confident we'll extend that. Those are those signs you see on the door every time you enter a business saying that business will not be held liable. Like I can't walk into Ace Hardware and say, hey, I think I got COVID from that guy behind the counter. I want to sue him. That can't happen. And the third thing is election laws. No matter where you stand on what happened during the election, the reality is that's really not a partisan issue. I know it seems like it right now, but everybody wants to make sure that their vote was counted and that no illegal vote was counted. And so I think that's something we can all agree on, and we need to work toward that. I don't think there was as many issues out there that some of the information is being put out, but that's not to say there weren't any issues. There were certainly some issues, and so we're going to work on those. And it's and we haven't waited until Monday to do that. We have been having meetings either in person or by Zoom really since November 3rd, addressing some of these issues. We've had multiple House and Senate hearings, and so when we get there Monday, it's not like we're going to start the work. We're actually going to start wrapping up the work that we've been working on the last couple of months.
Last year, with the COVID issue, the budget had to be cut drastically. Will the budget be more stable this year? COVID's still here, so how's the budget going to play out this year?
So we've already heard the budget generally starts from the governor's budget office. They do they give us a number, and then that number is translated into an up or down percentage. We've been told already that number is zero, and so there will be no cuts, there will be no increases. We're going to work off the same budget level that we did last year, so we've already been told no cuts. And so I think you'll see a lot, but that doesn't mean the budget's going to remain exactly the same, because we've had some areas that we one-time funded, and so there'll be some money there, and then there'll be some issues that either because of COVID or other reasons that need more funding. And just like QBE, we mentioned we had to drop $950 million out of that, although that was recaptured through locals. But I don't know that we can do that 2 years in a row. So we're going to have to revisit that. So it's still going to be a tough issue for us, but we're being told that there will be no increase or cuts.
What about broadband? Broadband's still an issue here with a lot of rural areas. How do you see that playing out this year?
Yeah, I think, again, one thing we've learned, and I'm on the Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications Committee where all those bills come out of, one thing we have learned is not to drop legislation and then let all the entities fight it out. Do the reverse. Get those parties together on something that they can agree on instead of fighting us and then them contacting their constituents or customers and then them contacting us and saying, we don't like this bill or you need to do this. We need to get those parties back to the table. I think we've made a lot of progress over the summer, but as I mentioned earlier, having a one-year agreement on technology where you're literally investing billions of dollars with a B, that's not okay with me. I think we need a longer term, and so I think we need to get those parties back together sooner than later, and then let's look at where we can move that ball forward.
Okay, Bill, always good to see you, and good luck at the session.
All right, thank you, and I appreciate the Wednesday's Workizers, and looking forward to it. It gives me a piece of home when I'm 200 miles away.
And once again, those comments of Bill Werkheiser, State Representative. Again, we've lined up our representation for our Butch and Bob show Mondays through Wednesday, Mondays with Meeks with Representative Stephen Meeks, Tuesdays with Tillery, State Senator Blake Tillery, and Wednesdays with Werkheiser, State Representative Bill Werkheiser. Again, all that throughout the session while they're in Atlanta. Again, a reminder today on the world famous Butch and Bob show, we've got Congressman Buddy Carter calling in from Washington, D.C. Again, we'll get his thoughts on what took place last week and other items taking place up in Washington, D.C. Again, that's this morning on the world famous Butch and Bob show, Congressman Buddy Carter. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final note of news, Health District temporarily pausing scheduling for COVID-19 vaccine appointments, and they're asking the public for continued patience as the vaccine program expands. Health departments in all coastal Health District counties have received an overwhelming response from residents ages 65 years of age and older interested in COVID-19 vaccination. Based on the number of calls taken to date, health departments in all 8 counties have enough requests to schedule appointments through February and in some cases into March to ensure they have adequate vaccine to fulfill appointment requests, including second doses. Coastal Health District has temporarily paused appointment scheduling for new requests. Individuals who are already on the list and awaiting callback will still be given an appointment. Dr. Lawton Davis, Health Director for the Coastal Health District, says our health department staff is working hard to get thousands of people scheduled for vaccination, but we need to hit the pause button at least for a little while so we can manage the current volume of requests. He says it also is their sincere hope that in the near future more providers will have the vaccine so there are more places for people to get vaccinated. Residents can go to covid19.gachd.org and register to be notified when appointments are opened back up. Registering online does not guarantee a vaccination appointment. It simply gives them a way to notify residents when the appointment process is back underway. Davis says, we know people are frustrated because the process is moving more slowly than they would like, and if we could vaccinate everyone today, we do that, but your health departments are stretched thin and doing what they can to move forward. He says they're exploring ways to expand capacity. They know more help will arrive. When other local healthcare providers have vaccine to offer, in the meantime, they state, please be patient, keep practicing the public health hygiene recommendations, as they know that'll help slow the spread of the COVID-19. Again, the number to call for an appointment, but everybody I've talked to says it's hard to get through this number, but it's 1-855-473-4374. Again, 1-855-473-4374. Again, they ask for everyone's patience. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan saying have a great day.